Welcome back to Kerbal Space Program Career Mode. Getting ready here to do a series of automated missions to gather up as much science as I can, as quickly as I can. And with automated missions, I figure I don't have to be quite so careful of the crew and whatnot because there won't be any. And so I've been working on this automated probe here. Start out with a probe core, and I've got the barometer and thermometer on it. I realized that a lot of the places this thing will be going will be not useful for the barometer, but it's part of the basic design, and right now it's one of the only two repeatable discrete science experiments that I can put on the thing. Got some batteries and my thrusters and so on. I've got a couple of parachutes on here for occasions when it will be necessary for this thing to re-enter. I figure 2 parachutes for as small as this probe is should do the job. And then, of course, there's the solar panels. I've got 2 of the materials bays, and I've got 2 sets of 4 goo containers, a total of 8. And let's see. Well, come think of it. Can I move these around here like that? Okay, I'll move the solar panels up. There. I'm going to move this up a little bit, and they won't be clipping. And they shouldn't be interfering, at least not much, with the animation of these things opening. All right. So, this is the main body of it here, with thrusters here, and another set down here with an FLT 800 tank and an LV 909. I would go for something like an ion engine, perhaps, or a nuclear engine, but I don't have the technology just yet. And the whole thing is going to be encased in a fairing. As you may have noticed, I have installed Ferrum Aerospace again. This is version 13.x.1. It's an experimental version, and in my testing so far, it seems to be working pretty good. And also, there is the consideration, I'm done trying to make space planes. I have played with them a little bit, experimented a little bit, and had more frustration and failure than anything else, and so I'm done with space planes. Besides, I would rather build rockets anyway. And so I was going to, okay, let me move this aside for a second. I was going to set this thing into one of these fairings from KW Rocketry. Here we go. 2.5 meter fairing base. And considering this is a 1.25 meter vehicle here, this should work very nicely. So there's the 2.5 meter KW Rocketry fairing base. And so here is, let's see, that's expanded. We want regular. 2.5 meter fairing wall. So if I come down here, and there is no attachment points down below, so I am assuming you have to attach it up here. Somehow that doesn't look right. And if even though there is no visible connection down here, if I take that off to the side, things go with it. Now, it does occur to me, maybe I need to do something really strange, like invert one of these down here, so. No, that doesn't work either. Obviously, it goes up here. But that's not the way it's supposed to be, so I ended up having to ditch the fairings from KW Rocketry, even though they look perfectly reasonable in the parts list. For some reason, they don't want to fit. And so, once again with the procedural fairing. Let's see, I believe this is all set up. Yes, that looks right. Check my action groups. Number 1 is, of course, my standard is to have the solar panel deploy on number 1. Let's see, custom 9 is the 2 repeatable science, the thermometer and the barometer. The others will be triggered manually. And that's pretty much it. Okay. So we'll go with the egg-shaped fairing. Put that on there in 2x symmetry. And there's our payload. Now, for a lifter, this is the H2 lifter. It is the one that has the, it's got the 6 Globe 10 SRBs on it. And I can see, yeah. Get rid of that extra decoupler. There we go. Now I just need to check out my staging and make sure everything is right there, and then we'll head off to the launch pad to launch the first of several of these things. Okay, here we are on the launch pad with the first of several automated robot probes being sent to various places in the Kerbal solar system to gather lots and lots of science. Okay, now because Ferrum Aerospace is installed, I've done some reading and I figured out a better way to do the gravity turn. Instead of like going straight up to 5 or 8 or 10 kilometers and then begin to turn, the turn is going to be much more gradual and begin much earlier. We'll start with a pitch to 88 degrees at 1 kilometer, and then at about 5 or 6 we'll pitch to 85, and then from there out I'll be pitching 5 degrees at a time to keep the ship turning gradually, so that by the time it reaches 65 or 75,000 meters we'll be horizontal. We'll have a nice long wide arc on the orbit. Let me set up to be able to quick look at that. There we go. I wish that wouldn't default to open. Anyway, here we are. We're ready to go. So, let's go. Throttle up to 1 2/3. And go. It's a little slow on the liftoff, but it makes up for it big time later on. And now from here, I'm going to go ahead and time accelerate the remainder of the ride to orbit. All right, here we are. 120 kilometer apoapsis. That's as good a place as any to set up a circularization burn. A little bit more here, a little bit less. $121 by 122 looks good to me. So let's see, T-minus 22 should do that. As you can see here, I've used the alarm clock to set up departure windows for all of the planets. And we'll be doing that very soon. Okay. Deploy solars just because why not? Okay, let's see, how much DV do we have remaining in the stage? Most of what we need for the burn. Excellent. Bit of time warp, and it's time to burn. This will put it into a nice little orbit. I will then rename the ship based on its destination and then proceed to launch 6 more. And then we'll get about the business of sending them where they're going. Okay, physics time warp with this ship was not a good idea. Realign with node. Stop the burn. We've got time. We can handle it. Note to self, do not physics time warp with a ship that's got this much on it. Okay, we've got time. We can make up for this easily enough. Get back to being in line with our node and finish the burn. And I will not pull that stunt again. Finishing up the burn. More than good enough. Okay. Now I want to rename this thing, and yes, I actually want it to have all that delta V, because it's going a long ways. Rename the vessel. Sundiver 1. Okay, now I've got 6 more launches to do, and then we'll start getting these things in order. I'll be back when the launches are done. Well, it's taken a little bit of a while to get everything taken care of, but there are now 7 spacecraft in orbit, all robot ships, automated vessels, intended to do some serious exploration. Right now we're focused on the Sundiver 1, which will be the first one to launch. Set a maneuver here, and let's see. Need to start out with a fair amount of prograde, and actually just enough to achieve Kerbal escape. And then from there, we'll have another maneuver out here at Sun Apoapsis and set this thing on its way. And let's see, I just recently updated this precise node thing, so let's see. Yeah, that's what I was looking for, and the orbit information. Alright. Very handy tool, and I like now that it's got ascending and descending node buttons on it too. That's going to make it even more handy than it was. Alright, so get lined up with our maneuver node. Let's go ahead and set an alarm for this one. And of course I don't have a burn estimate, so I'm going to assume 910 meters per second. I'm going to give it about a 2-minute 30-second warning. Now we'll finish getting into position, and we'll warp around and send the Sundiver 1, the first of several ships, on its way. Alright. I'm guessing 2.5 minutes should be pretty close to the burn time. Maybe not. We'll find out. Quick test burn. Minute 19. Okay. So 30 seconds plus half of 19. Say about T-minus 40 we'll finish this burn. And away we go. First of several automated ships on their way. And the next one will be the Kerbal Moho transfer, which will be taking place in 4 days. Nearing the end of the burn here. And here we go. Alright. Okay, we'll set an alarm here for this one when it gets to sphere of influence change. And then shortly after that, we'll set up a maneuver at Sun Apoapsis. As a matter of fact, we can go ahead and head out that way because that's only a little over, just under 2 days out. Sun Apoapsis is considerably farther out, 92 days, because we have to go all the way around. Of course, you may not necessarily have to wait quite that long. a little bit more time warp to actually get on the solar orbit. Okay. Now, ideally, this burn would be most efficiently done here at the apoapsis, but we're not that awfully far away from it. And after a short period of burning, this will be the apoapsis. So we'll set that up and see how close we can get this thing to the sun with retrograde burn. Let's see. We've got 6955 meters per second in delta V available, so we can use up to that much. This is intended to be a quick flyby, well, by necessity, very quick flyby, going by the surface of the sun in as low an orbit as we can manage, because we want to get low in space over the sun. Okay, well, let's see how that goes. Set up an alarm for that burn. 7 minutes, 52 seconds. So we want to have the alarm drop us out, say 4 minutes. All right. I'll be warping around to burn time just as soon as the ship takes its position. All right, we're in position. It's just about time. I'm going to go ahead and start burning. And we'll be finishing off this stage fairly soon. And then we'll switch over to this one with a longer burning engine. It has lower thrust. There's only one instead of 3 of them down there. And then finally we'll be switching to the LV909 down here as well. And we'll be burning almost all the available delta V in this one burn. Alright, we're just about out of fuel in the final stage. And once this one is jettisoned, I'm going to go ahead and continue to burn using the RCS fuel. And there we go, just about done. Jettison that. Turn on the RCS. Set this for kill rotate. And no, turn that off. Okay. Just use the SAS to hold our attitude. Okay, because that's the only set and it's now no longer on the center of mass, it's already thrusting the way I want it to. So good. Excellent. Continue to burn the sun periapsis down as low as we can. There's another 186 liters of monoprop to do it with. Sun periapsis is down to 48,000 kilometers. And it's going to get even lower. Alright, down here, almost halfway down on the monoprop, and the periapsis is down to just under 1,800 well, it's getting close to 1,000 meters. 1,000 kilometers, that is. Alright, and I've noticed something here, that as long as the RCS is enabled, whether SAS is on or not, whether Smart ASS is on or not, if the RCS is enabled, it's thrusting. I don't have any stuck keys on my keyboard, so there's no reason I can see for why this thing would be automatically blasting forward thrust no matter what. All right. Use a little bit of control thrust there and see if I can kind of nice this up for very close, very shallow periapsis. Two-kilometer periapsis. Okay, we'll go with that right there. This thing is going to have a very close encounter with the sun. And it's 19 days and 4 hours out. In that time, we've got 2 more ships that will be departing. Well, 3 within 19 days. Kerbal Moho, Kerbal Jewel, and out to Duna. All right, so let's get that Moho ship on.